Hello. And today we'll continue with Violet Memoir. Aren't you guys here for practice? Our favorite line here is, but I just saw up to every practice. I don't even remember what day I'm supposed to come in. Today is a non-aquatic team's practice. I hadn't even noticed that there wasn't any aquatic species until he mentioned it. Now that he does, I can see that there's other felines, canines, even a few rodents and marsupials around. You don't have to give up practice if you want. I really don't mind just watching. How about that? My phone buzzes in my pocket that I realize we've been standing in the locker room entrance while I watch the two of them. It's a message from Sarah, who's sitting down next to a gym bag with a towel loosening pile next to him. He's still dripping wet, but his hands look to be dried enough to not damage the screen. I saw the two of you cuddling this morning. It was very cute. You two looked like you were really happy. I was a little jealous. You're going to have to include me next time. all three of us. Austin wouldn't mind, or just you. I think the bed might be a little crowded if we all squish onto it. If Austin said that, I would have assumed he was just teasing me like he usually does, but Selwyn's beaming with a genuine smile. I truly believe he just wants to cuddle. Not that we can at the moment. I want to ask Selwyn about the necklace and everything I learned about Austin last night, about his brother and everything, but he told me that he's never told anyone else about it, not even Selwyn. Not even his friend who he knows much longer than me. My phone buzzes in my hand once more. You like him, right? Of course, it's really fun to be around. What does it mean like that? Oh, maybe? I'm not sure. He doesn't really seem like the kind of guy who really go for that. He just nods with understanding. It's moments like this I wish I could hear his voice. His laugh was soothing, and I bet his voice would be perfect for reassurance. But he does his best through text. He really enjoys spending time with you. I've never seen him bring anyone else to practice before. He doesn't normally care to bring people he just wants to sleep with. It's like he somehow picked up on that little insecurity that was still nagging in the back of my head. I think you're good for him. He's my closest friend and he means the world to me, but he never wants to get serious about things. He might listen to you though. I knew he would the moment I saw you together. Is that why you pushed me through the door after he got into the fight with Coach? He just gives me a meek nod with an apologetic smile that's only complemented by his bashful blush on his cheeks. He's too adorable to feel mad at. Not that I want to. If I can help someone, I do everything I can. I just didn't think Austin had so much going on with how chill he seemed when we first met. Maybe it's good for all of us to take a break here. I just want to... Oh wait, I totally forgot to bring anything to swim in. I figured you might forget, so I snuck a little something from your place as I left. Austin's voice is right next to my ear. It is much huskier than normal, especially as he slides something into my hand. He doesn't do anything more besides pull away and move towards one of the lockers, but I can already feel the heat racing to my head. Without a moment's notice, he starts pulling off his shirt and I'm forced to look away, focusing on what's in my hand, or else I don't know if I'd be able to stop myself from taking a peek. Also, chuckling only fuels the burning in my cheeks. I tell you, man, I don't mind if you look. What's the point of all of this if no one gets to see? Someone's seen it more than enough times. Why don't you have a turn? Hey dude, it's okay, I'm just messing with you. You can turn around, I'm already dressed. There's a bit of hesitation in me to turn around like this is all one trap, but also said he never do anything without my consent, and if I can trust him with this, what can I trust him with? And I do trust him. I turn around and just like he said, he's already in his Speedos, while I'm still just standing around fully dressed, feeling awfully silly. It's hard to not notice just how tight his Speedos were, and just how much they were revealing, both in how much I could see and how much is being implied by that rather large bulge. I was so distracted, and I do trust him. I turn around, and just like he said, he's already in his Speedos, while I'm still just standing around fully dressed, feeling awfully silly. It's hard to not notice just how tight his Speedos were, and just how much they were revealing, both in how much I can see and how much is being implied by that large bulge. I'm so distracted I wasn't even able to notice that Selwyn isn't even around anymore. It had been so lost in my head, I didn't even hear him leave. He went off to do some more warm-up laps. He was worried for you, but I waved him off. Just make sure you give him a big smile to let him know you're alright. He walks over and rubs his claws through my friends, and my friends are hair for it. It's different from what It's different when Lee wolfing my hair. When he does it, it feels demeaning, but with also it feels like electricity. Come on, get changed into that and we can go start. Don't worry, I won't drill you like one of the team. We can just swim and have a good time. Coach will probably prefer seeing me goof around anyway. Okay, alright. I wasn't gonna stare, but you look uncomfortable. I'll wait outside. Don't take too long, okay? Don't want Coach getting any ideas. Looking far, he walks out of the locker room like he didn't just leave me to stew in the many thoughts and implications he just implanted in my head. It's way too good at that. I'm able to get into the speedos in less than a minute, but it takes me several more to get the courage to leave the locker room. I've never felt so exposed before. Still, I've done swimming before, but always in board shorts. Not wearing something like this. I don't think anyone outside my family have seen this much of my thighs before. It's just a strange thing to focus on, but I can't stop thinking about it. I have expected also to take a peek inside just to check if I'm doing all right, but he just patiently waits outside. The only indication I get that he's still there is him yelling at him to check if I was doing good after the initial 2 minutes. But as soon as I walk out of the changing room, there he is, leaning against the door, waiting for me. I have expected him to scan his eyes all over me, but he makes no effort to check me out. He just keeps eye contact with me. Everything all right, man? You took a bit. Yeah, I've just never worn a Speedo before. It's really embarrassing. Ah, man, don't be embarrassed. You look really good. Trust me, you're more than a catch, alright? Despite how hot that makes my face feel, it does put my heart at ease a little. I've never been super self-conscious about my body, but when you're surrounded by people like us in Subway, it's a little hard to not notice. Don't worry about the other guys. We've been to the pools a lot. We're used to it. We've seen much worse guys wearing just as little, and trust me, you're never hard on the eyes. Thanks. Anytime. Now, let's hurry up. I bet Seven getting bored doing laps without Coach yelling at him. I thought he would have been kidding, but as we walk around the pool towards a relatively empty far end, my ears are introduced to the terrifying booming voice that a crocodile can provide. Anderson, you're dive. Anderson, you're diving. Your dive. Your dive is getting sloppy again. I told you to keep practicing it over the summer. No one makes any fuss or surprise about it. There was only a curt nod as the bear he was yelling at gets back onto the diving board. Coach is real intense. A bit of an ass, but don't tell him I said that. He's good at what he does, though. It doesn't sound like you two get along much. That's we're fine. He just overthinks things and tries to make problems out of nothing. You seem pretty serious about how big you are. Swimming not very muscular? Not like me. There's always muscle that comes with this, but I'm much larger than the preferred size. Shouldn't you? Hey, come on. I thought we were going to try and enjoy ourselves. To not stress about things. Let's do that, man. I want to show you a good time. That's okay? Yeah, alright. You've had enough stress for a lifetime. That's my guy. Come on, Seven's staring at us now. It's been a long time since I've been in a pool. Whenever I wanted to go swimming, I used to just go to the beach with Marcus. Haven't done that since middle school, though. I will admit, though, it feels nice to float in the water again. Couldn't really do that at the beach. I quickly found out I didn't stand a chance in the water compared to these two. They had a little ways to start and completely blew me out with no chance of redemption. Not that Seven fared much better. He was quick, but also on a whole different level. That must be why there's an aquatics and non-aquatics division. If someone as talented as a lion stood no chance against an otter, even if the otter is one of the best on the team, on the highest level of competition, it would just be unfair. with settling back to work on his strokes that left Oscar's attention fully on me, though he never checked up on his friend to make sure everything was alright. You two are crazy. Yeah, but being good is the point. I just like being here in the water. I wouldn't be anywhere else. There's no stress or hassles in here. Just paradise. To emphasize his point, he dives under the water and circles me like a shark to his prey. He even lightly tugs at my tail. But it isn't until he grabs my hips and starts pulling down that I realize I'm going under with him. I'm not afraid though. Despite everything that happened with the water yesterday, it's hard to be scared of it when I'm around Oscar. I know he wouldn't let anything happen to me. Then I'm submerged and disconnected from the rest of the world. I can't even see Seven doing his laps in the lane next to us. But I can see Oscar right in front of me with that same large smile he always has. But there's an energy in it that he doesn't usually have. I've seen it before though, back in the nightmare or that trip or whatever that was, back when we swam through the flooded hallway. It's like the mask is completely gone and he looks totally raw and emotional vulnerability that he doesn't show anywhere else. He's just so open. I reached out my hand and I expect him to interrupt it, but he doesn't. He lets it slide against his face, his dense fur slick from the water. His hand travels down his head. His hand travels down his head until I find the cord that connects his necklace. I follow that down until that teardrop is between my fingers. I can tell he's watching it too. He wraps a hand around my own, and I'm ready for him to pull it away, but he doesn't. He just lays it on top. Look at his eyes. There's a sadness that wasn't there moments ago, and I know exactly what he's thinking about now when he looks like this. I know what he's feeling. I know it all too well. Those sparkling eyes that simmer with such breathtaking beauty that I bet the ocean feels jealous. But I swear, if it wasn't for the water hiding them, I have a feeling I could catch they getting a little misty. But I get it now. The water is his place where he escapes all that. Sometimes I wish I had a place like that, but maybe it's a good thing I didn't. I know if I had somewhere that I felt like I could run away from everything that haunted me, I wouldn't want to leave ever. But I have to leave here. My lungs are finally reaching the limit. Oscar notices too because he swiftly wraps me up his eyes, and we shoot back up to the top like a torpedo. I'm shocked we don't rocket out of the water and just arrive with an unceremonious splash. Nothing out of the ordinary for the pool. Not a soul notices other than a skinny lion who's leaning against the air, staring at us with a smile. There's no wonder why either. Oscar holding me against his chest, and I can't deny that the warmth isn't one of the best things I could want at a moment. He doesn't pay the lion any mind other than a little wink to which the lion's smile grows before he turns and dives back into the water, shooting back off to complete his training. Thanks for letting me take you here. No way, thank you for bringing me here. I really needed this. I think we all needed this. Today's been a big one, and no one needs to deal with that. Not just today, the last week in general. The week's been pretty great in my books. I got to meet you, Lily, Papa Bear, Grumpy, all ya. Seems like a good trade in my book, don't you think? Yeah, it's hard to argue with that. Thanks for everything. He squeezes my shoulders, and without hesitation I return the affection back by throwing my arms around him and giving him a big hug. It throws him a little off his game for a second, leaving him a little stunned. It doesn't last long as he pulls me deeper into his warm embrace, but I can see peekings of pink in his ears. It's always strange seeing Oscar bashful, but it's something I'd give anything to see over and over again. You look like you're rather cozy. You're really warm. You bet I am. I'm your little heater whenever you need it. You better keep that promise when we get to winter. I'll be over whenever you want. what other kind of heater can you take to bed with you? It's hard to not laugh even as he flips the tables on me, and I can feel my own cheeks flushing, but this fun time is more overdue. Selwyn's training doesn't last much longer, and he's joining us in the swimming about. Soon we're the only ones that are playing around in the pool as the session comes to an end and the members of the swim team slowly disappear. All good things must end eventually. I'm the first throw in my towel, but the others are quick to follow up on the finish, even if it also looks like he could spend the rest of his life in there. But any annoyance or disapproval doesn't show on his face, not that I think he would have saw that regardless. He heads off first to take a shower, while I chat to Selwyn, who's been looking eager to chat to me privately since I got here. To call it a chat is a little generous, but he mostly just wanted to catch up on the day. It's hard to say no to someone as excitable as him, but he listened intently as his face spoke louder than any words could have. Eventually he was caught up to speed on everything that happened, but he wasn't surprised to hear that also avoids those he slept with. If anything, he looks a little guilty. It makes sense that Selwyn would know. It's probably come up numerous times, if not for the fact that the author has a rule to never sleep with his friends. But Selwyn reassured me that he knows that also really enjoys my company as a friend. At least that's what I gathered from what he was trying to signal to me. We head to the locker room, but Selwyn excuses himself, pointing over to his coach, who's still talking to the last lingering members of the non-aquatics. He must want to talk to him. Oh yeah, no problem. Should we wait for you? He just shakes his head and signals to the water. I guess he's going to swim some more, or maybe he wants to do some private training with the crocodile. He did basically skip practice. With a thumbs up, he heads off, leaving me to head to the empty locker room myself. It still had been empty, but the moment I walk through the entrance, I'm greeted with an unexpected sight. Walking out of the shower area is a steaming Oscar, still dripping wet. He has the decency to be holding a towel over his quads, though I don't think covering up was his intention. He looks just as shocked to see me, though that smile never flinches for a second. It only grows as my gulp is very audible in a silent room. Despite my best intentions, it's hard not to ogle at the guy. While I've seen his upper body shirtless many times by now, there's something about him being naked that makes it more exciting. It doesn't help that his wet fur is matted down and sticking to his body, making his muscles more prominent than ever. Before long, my eyes eventually reach down to the towel on his hand, hovering right in front of his quads. I'm not able to see anything from what's behind it, but that doesn't stop my imagination from running wild. It doesn't stop my body from physically reacting either. When he notices that, there's a wild spark that appears in his eyes, but he quells it enough to just settle on a sultry smile in those eyes that makes me want to melt in a little puddle. It's hard to tell if my eyes want to stare into them or at his body more. It's a choice harder than any other. Enjoy what you see? Hey man, don't stress. You look like you're going to pass out. That sultry look temporarily fades to one of concern. He moves to take a step towards me, but hesitates before thinking better of it. He must not want to make things worse. If you want me to, I can go get changed in the corner. Making you uncomfortable is the last thing I want to do, especially after a great time like that. My mouth feels dry and words fail to come to me. This is a lot more than I was expecting. I've never been this close to someone else being naked. But I don't know if I want him to leave. This is an opportunity I've never really had before, let alone with someone like Oscar. He must have caught onto my thoughts because his expression returns back to his subtle grin. But despite apparently being able to read my mind, he doesn't make any motion that closes the gap between us. Hey, you're just looking, right? Don't worry. What you see here is what you'll get. I wouldn't push you past what you're comfortable with. You look like you're barely holding on as it is. Thanks. I think I'll be fine. You look really good. Yeah? What's catching your eye? Huh? Well, you're looking like you're about to start drooling. So there must be something you like, right? You can't leave me hanging like this. Is it weird to say everything? You're like perfect. Damn, man, that's pretty high praise. You gotta make me blush. Despite what he's saying, he doesn't look too fazed by my answer other than his steadily growing smile. It almost feels linked to my own anxiety. The more comfortable I get, the larger his toothy grin grows. Well, surely you must have a favorite. Everyone's got something they like. Well, my eyes scan back over his body again, stepping over his large chest. It's huge, and I still remember what it felt like to rest my head against it last night. His necklace twinkles between his pecs, reflecting blue light into the surrounding fur. While it might look just pretty to others, after knowing what it means to him, it looks even more beautiful against him. The rest of his body is just as fantastic. It's like a performance with Adonis himself, except Adonis is a walking flirt who makes it clear that he wants to sleep with me, but still being a gentleman about it. My eyes eventually land on a towel between his legs, and I can feel the heat return to my face, but it's hard to stop my eyes from lingering on it, my imagination running wild. I know he'd remove it if I just asked, but I don't think I'm ready for that yet. In order to allow myself some level of self-respect before I totally embarrass myself, I will turn my gaze back to his face, where his stunning smile and those beautiful eyes that capture me more than anything else. There's an excitement in them, but there's also affection in them too. Affection for me that I swear I don't deserve. I have no idea what this guy sees in someone like me. So, what do you think? Get any ideas? About what? About your favorite part. I'm curious. You'll sate my curiosity, won't you? Well, I really like your eyes. Your smile too. That catches him off guard in a way I haven't seen in a long time. Whatever answer he expected me to give him, this is definitely not it. What? Are you sure, man? I mean, there's a lot more going on than just my face. You see that all the time too. Well, I mean, I told you I really like all of you, but if I had to pick favorites, it would be them. Your smile is the best I've ever seen. Your eyes are so pretty. I'm really jealous. Geez, man, you really are going to make me blush this time. Truth is, where the insides of his ears are growing pinker, and even his posture is not a little off guard. He's still radiating that permanent confidence he always has, but his hands leaves his hip to rub the back of his neck awkwardly. Was that the wrong answer? That makes him laugh, and this time he walks over to pull me into a side hug, nearly causing my hand to bump into the single layer of towel hiding his crotch from the world. Nah, man, there's no wrong answer here. I will admit, I wasn't expecting that one. No one's ever said that to me before. It's always my chest or my abs or even my junk if they're extra frisky. I mean, they're really nice. Are they? They haven't even seen all of them yet. We can change that right now if you want. It'll just take a second to simply pull my hand away. And my head was on fire before. It's become a full-on inferno now, and if the way the other's eyes sparkle is any indication, that's exactly what he wanted. I can't say I'm not enjoying this either. Having him this close to me is almost making me dizzy. There's none of that usual cloying smell he usually has. It's just soap and his natural scent. That combined with his proximity is enough to make my head spin. I don't think I'm ready for that yet. Don't sweat it. I got what I wanted. It's really cute when you get flustered like that. It just catches me off guard sometimes. I only do it because I know you like it. I wouldn't do this kind of thing with Grumpy or Papa Bear. I think they might actually hit me. Will you even feel it? How do you find out? I think for a second that he's joking, but I should know by now that even his teasing always carries a little bit of an offer in them. It's not like I haven't done this before. Hell, I was doing this just last night when we were in bed together. It just feels different with him freshly soured and fully visible in the light. I lift my hand to touch his chest, but my resolve falters, and I'm just left hanging my hand inches from touching his fur. He quickly scoops my paw into his own, caressing my fingers with his damp one, if his hand completely dwarfs my own. I was kidding. Don't feel pressured into doing that. I know I was just gonna try it. Well, how about you ask me when you look like you're not about to pass out? I'm always available. I'm always available. I love teasing you, but you've been through a lot lately. I wouldn't want to be the cause of anything worse. There's a tremble of disappointment that runs through me, and it doesn't go unnoticed by Oscar, who ought to pull me tighter against him. Is a good thing. I'm about to go have a shower because I'm already going to be dressed. I hope my clothes dry out enough in the meantime. As much as I'd love to stand here and teach all day, Coach wanted to talk to me before we left, so he'll come check soon, and I wouldn't want him to get the right idea about what we're doing. With her gentle self, I'm forced to take unsteady steps towards the shower area while Oscar walks towards his locker, his towel now slung over his shoulder instead of covering his crotch. If he wasn't facing away from me, I have just gotten an eyeful. I look away before I end up staring at his ass. Knowing him is probably just as perfect as the rest of him. I've never actually seen an ass before, not in person. As tempting as it is, I can feel Austin's focus on me, even though he's facing away from me. I know if I take a peek at it, he'll know for sure. I'll just focus on having a shower. Usually, I'm not fond of how unstable gym showers can be, but maybe a cold shower wouldn't be a bad idea right now. That Arthur really knows how to push my buttons. By the time I leave the bathroom, I'm already clad in my underwear again, hoping to avoid any teasing from the other, but I find that it's absent instead. The only occupant is Seven, who's already dressed back in the same hoodie from last night and is just focusing on trying to comb his mane out. He was curious what the two of us were doing after this, and I admitted that I wasn't really sure. I want to read the diary and check on that missing page covering Helena's date with Conrad. But after everything we just went through, I don't know if I really want to do that. Someone doesn't look very sure either. I wonder what Austin would say. There's a string of concern that clouds over the lion's face, and he leans into my ear. I expect him to whisper something, but there's only some rasp and grunt of effort before he pulls away, wearing a frustrated expression I've never seen on the lion before. He quicks out his phone and quickly types out the message with a flurry of taps. It's truly scary how he's able to do that without even looking at his phone. He tried to get you to avoid it if he thinks it might upset you. He never wants to do anything to get him down or anything that might get you down. I don't think I'm that important to him. But someone's expression doesn't look like he's messing around. It looks dead serious, though there's only so intense. Though there's only so intense he can look with his adorably handsome face. He really likes you, even if he doesn't admit that. Also doesn't like letting people in, not even me. But he seems willing to do things he wouldn't normally do for you. He's never brought anyone to the pool before. Never? He shakes his head, but this time he's wearing a smile. There's something about the way he's puffing up his chest and pulling his shoulders back that makes him look proud. It's only slightly undermined by the awkward pinging of his phone. I care about him a lot too. He's the first guy at college to try and be my friend. If it wasn't for him, I'd never have left my little bubble. I owe him the world. He tried to do that with me too. He found me standing outside of my lecture, scared to go in. Then he just comes and drags me inside with him. That sounds like him. He always wants the best for people, but if he gets too close, he takes a step back. I don't know why. So do you think I shouldn't go read the diary then? That's not what I said. That's just what Arthur would suggest. Why not just do a bit of both? You said you just wanted to check something, right? How about you do that, and then we go do something, maybe invite your friends. That reminds me of what Lily said yesterday. Oh, my friend mentioned going to a club or to the bar tonight. As a group, maybe you want to join us. I've been wanting to introduce you to Lucas and Lily. I bet you love them. Now that turns his expression into a mix of excitement and nervousness. From what I've come to know about Selwyn is that he's shockingly energetic with his friends, but wary of those he doesn't know. Don't worry, they're good friends. They're good guys, and you just stick around Oscar and me until you feel comfortable. I just know you'll be fast friends with Lily. Lucas might take a little getting used to. That makes him a little concerned, but he doesn't make any indication that he doesn't want to go. If anything, he looks determined to go, even if he'll be a little uncomfortable. After a bit, I thought that Selwyn and Oscar were a lot more similar, but now I think they're more different than ever. I don't know if Oscar would have put himself in a situation like this. I'm not sure how I'm supposed to navigate around him. Should I push him more, or should I give him space? I wish the answer was easy, but I'll have to do something. Oscar's definitely dealing with something. I don't want to push myself into it just yet, though I can feel that nagging voice in my head telling me to. All this talk about plans reminds me of the text the group had sent me earlier, and I realized that I, in fact, do have immediate plans, something that's going to be significantly less fun. Actually, Selwyn, can you keep Oscar company for a bit? Everyone wants to interrogate me about last night. It hopefully shouldn't last too long, and I can propose our little getaway tonight. He just gives me a firm nod and a thumbs up. It's nice to have someone I can rely on with stuff like this. Also, it's amazing, but it's not like I can distract myself. But it's not like I can distract him from himself. Not that I think he wouldn't respect my policy. Well, let's get this over with. So right here. Okay, so about Oscar in the pool, it's obviously a place where he goes to escape reality and whatever he's facing, because he feels at peace with being under the water, and Wallace saw that, and he's really like a completely different person under the water. Like, it's like a private area for him, like just when he got home, a home is private. You could just kind of be yourself since nobody's around. It's kind of like what being on the pool is like, and it seems to be obvious now why he goes, why he swims a lot. Because it's a place for him to get away from what he's dealing with, or if not to get away from what he's dealing with, at least it's a good place for him to deal with it. Like deal with what he's going through. So we still haven't figured out what exactly he's dealing with. So as we continue with his path, we should find out. So he did suffer his brother being dead some years back. So that's painful to him. So y'all probably can hear this crickets outside. It's really distracting, so I'm just gonna hurry up and end the part here. So we got to see Oscar. We've seen him shirtless before, but this is the first time, in addition to him being shirtless, we got to see him without his pants on. So he looks very good in the Speedo. I mean, he really looks a lot more like a bodybuilder than a swimmer. I mean, he really could either be a bodybuilder or a football player more than a swimmer, but he is great at swimming despite all the muscle mass he has. So anyway, we'll continue with Violet Memoir in Austin's Path next time. Thank you all very much for watching. Goodbye.